You ever wonder if there's a different way to do things online? A way to connect without all the profiles, the likes, and the constant feeling that you're being watched? Well, today we're diving into a really radical concept called the banquet. It's a protocol designed not for networking, but for a real, genuine human encounter. So let's see what this is all about. So here's the plan. First, we're going to diagnose why our current digital spaces just feel so broken. Then we'll step right into the banquet and check out its core ideas, swapping out identity for something called nodes, bringing in guardians instead of moderators, and really rethinking the whole point of being present online. And it all leads to this big idea, scaling trust, not virality. All right, so first up, our broken digital spaces. Look, before we can really appreciate the solution the banquet is offering, we have to get super clear on the problem it's trying to solve. And the source material starts with this really heavy but, essential question. Why? Why do our online conversations so often feel like a tinderbox, just waiting for a spark? What is it about these spaces that sets us up for conflict? And here is the diagnosis. It basically boils down to these four conditions. We get shoved into digital boxes, right? Categorized. We're pushed to perform for likes and followers, to constantly put on a show. We're always being ranked against each other. And the whole thing happens while we're being watched. The argument here is that these four things aren't just features, they are the direct cause of why things fall apart online. Okay, so if that's the problem, how do we even begin to fix it? And that brings us right to our second section. Welcome to the banquet. This is the proposed answer, a space built from the ground up to fight back against those toxic conditions. And here it is, the core definition. Now listen to the key words: shared presence, human encounter. But maybe even more important is what they've taken out. No surveillance, no profiles, no power gradients. You see, it's defined just as much by what it gets rid of as by what it is. And this is so important to get our heads around. The source is making it crystal clear this is not just another social media app with a new skin. It's not a forum, it's not a chat room, it's not a platform for you to build your brand. It is simply and very powerfully a place for human beings to encounter one another. That's it. And this gets at how intentional the whole thing is. You can't just stumble in by clicking a random link. There are no public URLs. The only way in is from inside something called a personal data locker. You can think of it like your own private, secure spot on the internet. So showing up is a conscious choice to be present, not just another mindless click. Okay, this leads us to the first really big mind-bending mechanic. Section 3, no identity, only nodes. This is the system's direct assault on that incentive to perform we talked about. I mean, just stop and really imagine that for a second. An online space where you literally can't click on someone's name to see who they are, who they follow, or how popular they are. There are no likes, no follower counts, no status markers at all. So if you don't have a profile, what are you? Well, you're a node. And every single node has these four key properties. It's cryptographically proven to be a unique human, so no bots. It's sovereign, which means you and only you control it. And this is huge. Every single node is equal in presence. There's no algorithm jacking up one person's voice and burying another's. And you have to understand, this isn't just some random design choice. It is a surgical strike. By taking away the tools we use to display our identity, it directly stops these bad habits. You can't signal what tribe you belong to. You can't use your status to steamroll a conversation. That whole incentive to perform, it just evaporates. And we stop sorting ourselves into our usual echo chambers. And what's the result of all that? Well, according to the source, when you strip away all the performance, the identity, the status games, what's left? Just the idea itself. The conversation can finally get back to substance. Okay, but what about the big question, right? What about trolls? What about bad actors? That leads us to the next core idea in Section 4, guardians, not moderators. And this is a complete rethink of how to keep a digital space safe. This slide shows a night and day difference. A traditional moderator, what are they doing? They're policing speech. They're looking for keywords, enforcing content rules. But a guardian's job is totally different. It's to protect human dignity. They aren't looking for bad words. They're looking for bad behaviors, things like coercion, harassment, and manipulation. And check out how they intervene. It's designed to be as minimal and as humane as possible. They don't just bring down a ban hammer. It starts with a simple contextual warning. If things continue, maybe a temporary separation from that specific conversation, and only as a final resort comes a quiet removal. And that's only from the banquet space itself. And this, right here, is the absolute game changer. No one is ever permanently banned from the whole system. The action is temporary, it leaves no permanent black mark on your record, and the punishment doesn't follow you around like a shadow. The whole point is to de-escalate and protect, not to kick people out forever. So you've set up these conditions: no identity, guardians protecting dignity instead of policing speech. So what is this place actually for? That brings us to Section 5, the purpose of presence. The way it's described, the banquet is meant to be a generative space, a place where you can safely test out a fragile new idea without getting shot down. It's where these unexpected collaborations can just pop up between people who never would have met otherwise. It's a space where trust can actually genuinely form, because it's not being faked or manipulated. It's like a lab for human connection. And the secret sauce here is that it's all possible because the space is intentionally unoptimized. Think about that. There's no algorithm trying to guess what will make you angry to keep you scrolling. Nothing is being pushed at you. If an idea or a conversation takes off, it's only because actual human beings decided of their own free will that it was valuable. And all of this, the nodes, the guardians, the unoptimized space, it's all building to one single massive final point. Section 6, scaling trust, not virality. This is the endgame. This quote, this is everything. This is the thesis for the whole project. The internet we have now is amazing at making things go viral, right? Usually the most outrageous, divisive stuff. The banquet just completely rejects that goal. Its entire purpose is to build and scale something way more precious, and frankly, way harder to build: trust. And how do you do that? How do you actually scale trust? Not with a marketing campaign or some clever algorithm. You do it the only way you can: slowly, quietly, and directly, from one human being to another. The source wraps up by calling this idea civilization repair. And wow, that is a bold claim. But it leads us with a really powerful question to chew on. In this age where we feel so digitally divided, could a quiet, unoptimized space, one that's totally free from performance and surveillance, could that be the thing we need to just remember how to truly meet one another again?